Good afternoon. This special meeting of the Socorro ISD Board of Trustees will come to order. The date is Wednesday, August 14th, 2024. The time is 5:34 p.m., and we've confirmed a quorum. In order to get us started, please join us in reciting the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, we'll continue with public comment specific to agenda items only. Each person who signed up was provided a copy of the Open Forum Basic Rules and advised when they signed up that policy BED applies to the process. Please respect the process during your presentation. As a reminder, each speaker is allowed 3 minutes. We'll proceed with public comment. Our first speaker is Ms. Rosie Pettis, please.
I got one. Good evening. Good evening, President Nájera, members of the board, and Interim Superintendent, Mr. Vasquez. I am Rosie Pettis, and I proudly represent the members of West Texas Alliance. I want to talk to you about something that is central to both the mission and the values of SISD, ensuring that employees have access to high-quality, affordable health care. This is not just a matter of compliance or obligation. It is a commitment to the well-being of each member of the SISD team and their families. In today's world, the importance of health care cannot be overstated. It's not just about managing illnesses or emergencies. It's about fostering a supportive environment where employees can thrive both personally and professionally. We understand that the well-being of employees is intricately linked to their health care. That's why we are dedicated to not only advocating for providing comprehensive health care plans to employees, but also ensuring that these plans are affordable and accessible. We are asking for your commitment to comprehensive coverage that has been carefully reviewed and tailored to cover a wide range of services. From preventative care and mental health support to specialist treatments and emergency care, our goal is to make sure that every employee has access to the care they need. We know that health issues can arise unexpectedly, and having robust coverage means that employees can focus on their recovery rather than worrying about the financial implications. Affordability is key. We recognize that even the best healthcare plans are of little use if they are not financially manageable to both the district and its employees. We ask that diligent work has been done to keep premiums, deductibles, and copays as affordable as possible. We request that the benefits team continuously evaluate the plans to ensure that they remain affordable while still providing the comprehensive coverage that employees deserve. Transparent communication. In the conversation we had with Mr. Kim, this was a key component that we requested on behalf of our members. We want transparency in the healthcare offerings. We request clear, easy-to-understand information in the healthcare offerings, clear, easy-to-understand information and presentations about what each plan covers and what costs will be. We want employees to feel confident in their healthcare choices, knowing that they are getting value for their money. We want resources and support to help employees navigate the complexities of healthcare decisions. Employee feedback and continuous improvement. Employee feedback is crucial to the district. Regularly seeking input from employees to understand their needs and concerns regarding healthcare programs is crucial. The feedback helps you make informed decisions and improvements to your needs, ensuring that our healthcare plans remain relevant and effective. It has been proven that when employees have access to the care they need without financial strain, they are more engaged, more productive, and more satisfied in their roles. Although an invitation to a healthcare plan presentation to a small group of employees was extended to us just this past Monday, we were able to have a few members attend and participate. The information I received was positive and productive, and they appreciated the opportunity to provide feedback to the district. The commitment to affordable healthcare is a reflection of the values and respect the district has for employees. We're counting on the continued collaboration between board members and the district to do what is best for kids. When it takes care of its employees, it's doing what is best for kids. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker, Mr. Tommy Hill.
How you guys doing? It's glad to be back. I got to thank Mr. Kim. Awesome. We had some great dialogue, and it is very good that you guys are reaching out to everybody. Now, we know right now we're a little nervous because we don't know what's truly coming in January because you guys still got to approve it. So we hope that we get the best plan possible. I want to thank Mr. Kim. I want to thank you guys for reaching out to each feeder program. And let's try to work the best for our employees. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you. Okay, no more speakers. We'll continue with the workshop. Item 4A, Health Fund and Plan Design. Mr. Carmona, please.
Good evening, Board President Nájera, members of the board, Superintendent Mr. Vasquez, Mario Carmona, Director of Human Resources. Just to make sure that you have the information, a copy of the information that we're going to be covering today, may I approach you with a copy of the information? Thank you, Mrs. Stiles. Again, thank you for allowing me the opportunity to bring this information forward. As you know, most of the information that we're going to be covering today is not new information per se, is more so new numbers, but this is information that we have reviewed recently, especially in the last couple of board workshops or board meetings. But before we get started, I'd like to go over the timeline. And know that you received a copy of the presentation, but think of that copy as a master copy, if you will, because what we did is we reduced the number of slides in effort to stay focused on what we're trying to accomplish today. So that's the reason why we provided you with an updated version of the presentation. But getting back to the timeline, we have already gone through the June and July step of the process. We did a presentation. We followed up with our consultant and brought over some information to the board. We did an additional workshop, additional meetings in the month of July, and that brings us over to today's workshop, August 14, and our goal is to cover the following items. In the agenda today, we're going to cover the current drivers, revenue, expenditures, cost. We're going to cover some main topics, a summary of the presentation, and some considerations and recommendations. So again, our current status, just as a reminder, our health fund has been running on a deficit for several years. So this is not something that it's new. What I mentioned in our previous meeting is that what is new is that now we have a deficit in our general fund and in our health fund. But the health fund itself has been running on a deficit for, like I said, at least 8 years. There is a cost gap currently related to the type of coverage that we're offering between 29 and 49%. So when we are addressing any of the plans that we currently offer respective to what is being contributed into the plan, then that's the range that we have to look at when it comes to each single option being offered. Thankfully, there is an 86% of people who are enrolled utilizing the benefits. That's a good thing. As mentioned, retention is one of our priorities from the Department of Human Resources and as an employer. So having good benefits is an incentive. It's something that attracts our employees to apply and stay with the school district. Another piece of information that's important, I think, just as a reminder, there will be a change that has been already considered by the board in respect to the per employee per month contribution, a reduction from $575 down to $555, effective January 1st of 2025. And also, we are going to focus on some of the features and benefits specifically to the consumer-driven health plan. Our goal is to continue to be able to provide the benefits that we have been offering to our employees throughout the years. In addition to that, we have included additional features to our plan, such as the employee health clinic, which has been successful in terms of the numbers that we were hoping to be able to see come through the clinic have been already surpassed. So that's good news in terms of utilization. Yet, one of our challenges right now is that the contributions, the amount of money that's going into the health fund itself is not enough to be able to take care of the cost that's being pulled from that health fund. We have talked of possible ways to address our fund situation, our deficit. One of them has been increasing employee premiums, contribution rates, premium adjustments for each level of coverage, restructuring health plan design options, and we have talked about not doing anything. And of course, not doing anything, that would mean that our health fund will continue to run on a deficit, and subsequently, anything that is short from the health fund will need to be pooled or subsidized from the general fund. So our goal tonight is to bring proposals to be able to reach that balance. How do we continue to offer the benefits that we have been able to offer throughout the years, but still bring those levels of contribution to where they need to be able to meet our goal, which is bring a balance to the fund. The topics that we're going to be covering are our current health plan options and design structure, current proposed plans and scenarios, our employee benefits education campaign. Briefly, we're going to go over a plan worksheet that we're going to be providing and facilitating to our participants. And lastly, as I mentioned, considerations and recommendations. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the information that you're most likely already familiar with and you have seen several times throughout our presentations. You are familiar with the plans that we offer. It's been mentioned in previous presentations that each option offers PPO and ACO, or Preferred Provider Organization Network, and a Accountable Care Organization Network. And employees right now at this point have the ability to choose one or the other. Each option has a structure or a design, which it includes a deductible, maximum out-of-pocket, co-payments, and so on and so forth. So what you see on the screen right now, or on the slide, is what we currently offer. What we're going to be focusing on is on 5 scenarios, and those are the consumer-driven health plan with the health savings account, the base plan, the premier plan, and then 2 more scenarios with a 0 health fund balance target and a 1 million health fund balance target. To the left of your screen right now, you'll see the 2 options that are being offered. As I mentioned, we have the consumer-driven ACO and the consumer-driven PPO. So if someone right now wants to enroll in the consumer-driven plan, that will be the 2 options that they would have to choose from. Next year, effective 1/1/25, they would have the ability to choose the consumer-driven plan, but the plan now will include the 2 networks within the plan. Essentially, same structure, same principle behind it in terms of the deductible, out-of-pocket, and co-payments. But now the employee will have the ability to go from one option of network to the next without having to be enrolled in that particular plan. In addition to that, to the top right corner of your slide, you'll see, if you wanted to see as a point of reference, the number of people that are currently enrolled in that particular plan. You will also see the total amount, and for this particular plan, we have a total of 300 people. You'll see what the rate could potentially be, the proposed rate for a 0 fund balance, and you'll see the rates for a target rate of $1 million. The The same information for the base plan. Currently, employees have the option to choose from two. Those are the ACO and the PPO. As of next year, the proposed plan structure is employees will be able to enroll in the base plan, but the base plan now will include both networks. Again, as a reference, top right corner table includes a total of enrollees in that particular plan. It includes what the proposed rate would be with a zero fund balance, and what would the rate be if the target would be $1 million as a balance. Next, we have the Premier Plan. Again, same principle behind it, same structure. Two options to choose from. Those are the ACO, the PPO. Effective 1/1/25, employees will be able to choose the option, but the option now will include both networks. Top right corner, as a reference, total number of enrollees. And if the target is a zero balance or a 1 million health fund balance, you see those numbers respectively as well. But where I would like to spend a little bit more time, and please, if there's any questions at this point, if I'm going too fast, please stop me and let me know. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions. I would hate to miss any information that might need to be further clarified. Next slide, number 12. I think this is a slide that could probably clarify some of the questions that were posed regarding the rate. How or what would be the rate for the following year? And you'll see for this particular piece of the information, we have a zero fund balance. For someone who is currently enrolled or participating in the consumer-driven plan, you have two premiums to pay. If you're under the ACO, you pay $0, or if you're under the PPO, you pay $30, and this is monthly. Next year, if the employee chooses to continue to be enrolled in the consumer-driven health plan, the premium is zero. So if you're participating in the PPO, good news. Your premium for the plan is reduced by $30. If you wanted to see how many people are enrolled as employee only, you have that listed at the table at the bottom of that particular option. Next, same information for the base plan. If you have someone who is enrolled under ACO or PPO, you see the respective premium rate. But for next year, if the employee chose to continue in that same plan, the premium will be reduced to $49.80. As a reference, if you wanted to see how many people in our school district are currently enrolled as employee only, you'll see listed that information as well in the table at the bottom of that particular option. And next to the base plan, we have the Premier Plan. If you have an employee who's currently enrolled in the ACO, it would pay $141, or PPO $160. For that particular plan for next year, the proposed rate is $166. So as you see each respective level of coverage, you'll see each respective increase or proposed premium for next year. And I like to remind the board that one of the reasons why we're bringing this information, or we have brought this information over, is because rather than making a change to every single level of coverage, our goal is for those that are participating at a different level to contribute what's fair within that plan. In previous years, what we have done is we have increased our premiums with a flat rate. And I think it's been at least if I recall correctly, at least 4 years since we did a rate increase. And if we were to take that approach to doing an increase just by a certain amount, it's not necessarily addressing the issue that we have had throughout the years. Why? Because at the end of the day, one level of coverage may have to carry the expenses from the, a subsequent level of coverage, such as employee and spouse, employee and children, and employee and family. One of the options that is rich and that is right now not contributing enough to the fund is the premier plan. And you probably recall that one of the points of discussion has been to continue offering that option, but to freeze enrollment, meaning that if an employee or a participant wishes to continue in that tier, they can do so, but it will have to be with a new premium. Other than that, they can take advantage of any of the other rates, save some funding on paying the premium for that particular option, and continue to take advantage of the great benefits that the school district continues to offer. Any of the options essentially offer the same type of coverage. They just work differently because of the structure. I know that every so often people moving from one option to, let's say, a consumer-driven health plan, it's somewhat, it gets us out of our comfort zone. I can tell you that that was the case for me when I learned about what's many years back used to be known as the high deductible health plan, now consumer-driven health plan. When I transitioned, for me it was somewhat, the unknown was what would make me uncomfortable, if you will, when it came to going to go visit my healthcare provider, especially because I knew that in order for me to receive services, I had to out-of-pocket my deductible, and or I would have to have funding already in my health savings account to be able to take care of those expenses. So what I did is I looked at the math in terms of how much am I paying right now in premium, and would I rather pay myself that premium and save that money into my health savings account? It may not be the total amount, but I might be comfortable with $50. I might be comfortable with $20. But again, I had to make that decision. I had to look at my medical expenses and see what make me feel comfortable. And it's not an option that works for everybody, but I can tell you that I've been in it with other employers and with the school district, that I'm familiar with the process. And I know that at the beginning of the plan year, it might not be, for someone who's new to the plan, it may not be something that they might feel comfortable with, but there is always a plus. And I'll show that, I'll show you some additional information that will provide you some additional numbers. But as I mentioned, in this particular slide, you see the rates for the zero health fund balance. This next slide is for the 1 million health fund balance. I'd like to remind the board that we're saying zero fund balance or 1 million fund balance based on the numbers that we currently have as enrollment. Keep in mind that with any change, as the information is rolled out and it's open enrollment is conducted in the month of October, the numbers will change. We're always hoping for the best. We're always hoping to be able to forecast for the next plan year, but our goal and our commitment to you all and to all the employees is to make sure that we provide the best packet of benefits, and of course, still be able to take care of our finance, our responsibilities. So that's our purpose at the end of every plan year and starting the new one. For this particular slide, we have a 1 million health fund balance. And again, you have someone who would be under this ACO, PPO. The new rate for 2025 would now be $0. And if you wanted to see again, the number of people that are enrolled as employee only, that's listed at the bottom of that table under that particular option, the consumer-driven health plan. Next, we have the base plan. both options again, ACO and PPO. If someone was to enroll in that same option for the next plan year, that will turn into a 5338. So you'll see a slight increase because, again, we're shooting for a balance within the fund. We have as a reference how many employees are enrolled as employee only. And then we have the Premier Plan. Same information, ACO, PPO, and the rate for 1/1/2025. And how many employees are enrolled as employee only. Are there any questions before I move on from rate and participation numbers?
Mr. President,
Oh, Mr. Kim, yes, sir.
may I add to the conversation right here that Mr.
Yes, sir.
Carmona? Mr. Carmona, can you go back one more slide? So I think that the board needs to make sure that you don't get confused about the zero fund balance target versus $1 million fund balance target. I think ideally you want to go for, let's say, the zero fund balance target. Perhaps in the outer years, you may want to go ahead and try to go and create some extra room in the reserve or the fund balance within the self-funded for any type of emergency services. But we want to give you two different sort of scenarios. But what you really need to concentrate on is this slide. And I want to belabor the point about, so if everybody stays with their current plan as is, then the rates will go up, other than the employee only. As you can see, there's some savings there. The idea, though, as it was mentioned earlier from the onset, is that there's going to be a mind shift between the current plan, especially the Premier Plan, which is your most richest, wealthiest plan, to the consumer-driven plan. So if you were to currently right now on the most expensive, the Premier PPO employee family, currently that person is paying $740. Do you see that right there? So the education, the marketing, if you will, and the explanation is to potentially have that employee choose the proposed ACO PPO and the consumer-driven health plan, HSA, at $731. That's a savings there. So once again, to sustain the Premier Plan as it is, it's either somebody's going to pay a lot of money to do that, or really educate the consumer, in your case, the employees of the school district, so that there's a viable option to go to the consumer-driven plan. And, in a few minutes, there's going to be some differentiation on what the benefits are, how we can make that work, and the education that surrounds that. But frankly, right now, we need to move the district in a multi-year process towards this level of the consumer-driven health plan. And if you did that for some of our employees, and you can see the numbers of participation there. So if you have, for example, in the base plan, right now you have 2,116 employees in the PPO employee-only base plan. Do you see that there? If they were to stay within that plan, and if they can choose to do so, it'll be at $49.80. So say it's a savings than what they're paying now. But if they were to go to the employee-only proposed consumer-driven, it's zero. So it's a benefit there. So once again, wherever we can, we need to try to move participation to the consumer-driven health plan. And that's going to be the sort of the education that needs to take place. So, but if you only look at this as is, this is the only way that the employee can stay. So the employee has a choice. If they so want to choose to stay in the employee and family Premier ACO PPO, it's going to double, and that's a lot. And if you look at the $1 million scenario, it goes up another $200. So the point of this is, once again, while we want to try to preserve some aspect, at least in the multi-year process here, what's familiar with our employees, at the same time, we have to do a lot of education to get employees to go ahead and consider the other plans that are potentially beneficial financially and also financially benefit to the school district. So I do want to make sure that that is understanding here. This is not there's a lot of movements you can make within this plan to make that work. So we just got to educate our folks to consider the other plans. So I just want to make sure that's not missed. Perhaps you've already thought about that, but I don't want to assume that. So I just want to point that out.
Thank you, Mr. Kim. So another point of reference that we like to bring up is the level of participation in other neighboring school districts. And I can tell you that they have gone through this process already, and you can see that the level of participation ranges from 22% all the way up to 58.3% in respect to the number of participants that are enrolled in a consumer-driven health plan. So this is to say that once an employee or participant sees the benefit and how they can benefit from participating in this plan, they'll take advantage of it. Compared to the percentage of participation with Socorro ISD, which is 4.3, I think there's a lot of room for us to be able to continue further educating our employees, continue making sure that they understand their benefits and how they can take advantage of this. I'd like to invite Ms. Bobby Shupak to go over this piece of the information and provide some of the experience or what they experienced when they were going through the same process at one of her previous school districts.
Thank you, Mr. Carmona. It's good to see everyone in person as I was on Zoom last time. So the bottom line is, how does this affect the employee? So we heard the speaker tonight at the beginning too. We heard this from the feedback group last night that Mr. Carmona will talk about. So in order to do that, I always like to do a plus delta. So what are some of the positives and what are some of the challenges? Because as an employee, I want to know what are the positives for me and what are the negatives. So if we look at that and we compare the plans, you can see that the HSA will be $800 is what we're recommending. So right now it's $600. That would be an increase of $200. And in a little bit, Mr. Carmona will show you how that math all adds up for the employee, but that would be a positive for the employee. The negative or the delta could be an increase in deductibles. So if you were following the charts, you saw some slight changes. So whether it was $3,250 to $3,500, there were some slight changes in the deductibles. So when we're educating employees, we want to make sure they see, here's all the benefits, but there's also some opportunities or some challenges that you're really going to have to balance out. On the pharmacy benefits, right now if the employee goes to the SISD clinic, it's $0 for their pharmacy benefits. On the current plan, I believe it's $0 for all. We can't afford that with the plan. So if we look at plan designs, it's going to increase to $10, but there still is going to be a $0 option. So again, it's about making choices. So if you go outside of the clinic for generics, it will be a $10 copay on that prescription, but at the clinic, it would still be the $0. So again, making sure we're very transparent, everything's out there in the plan design. And then the monthly cost, like Mr. Carmona explained, it can decrease by the plan that you select. So if you go to the consumer-driven high deductible plan, then it can decrease, but there is also an opportunity to increase if you stay on your current plan. And it's really about education. We've said that multiple times tonight. A lot of employees don't think about insurance until they have to think about insurance. You know, we know it's something we have, but until we actually have to utilize the insurance, we don't really know what we have. And with the group last night, we saw that once you're educated and you go through it, and it's not that we don't want to learn, it's not something that's on the forefront of our minds. So really thinking about it and how you can make insurance work for you instead of insurance working you. So that's what we really want to do, is make sure the employees can see the benefits and some of the drawbacks that they might experience in year 1 or year 2.
Thank you, Ms. Shupak. So I'd like to go over some additional information that I think can illustrate what Mr. Kim mentioned earlier. Every so often when we're assisting someone to enroll, one of the common questions that I get is, Mario, which one is better? Which one is the best plan? And it comes down to this, especially with insurance. Pay me now or pay me later. If you don't pay it in premiums, you will pay it in deductible. What it requires is for you to plan and see what works best for your situation. And let me tell you what I mean by that. Specifically to out-of-pocket, it's something that tends to be overlooked. So what I tell employees is, think of this. How much are you going to pay in premiums? Because the premium, think of it as a membership. Something that you pay to be a member of that group that you'll never see again. It's just like any other membership. Your car insurance, your house insurance, you pay. You pay every month probably. I'll speak for myself. I probably don't know everything that I'm paying for, but I know I have it. And not until I need it, I'll find out that my washer and dryer are not covered. It's one of those things. It's the nature of insurance. But I tell the employees, think of how much you're going to pay from your paycheck so you can become a part of that group. In addition to that, look at your maximum out-of-pocket for the year. One of the advantages that we have here in this school district is that the school district makes an annual contribution per employee. The current contribution is $600. What we're proposing is for that contribution to increase to $800. So what we do is we look at the cost plus our maximum out of pocket, and that will give you a total. If you subtract the $800 from that amount when we compare it to other options such as a Premier plan, you can see that it's significant. In addition to that, if we subtract what we're getting from the school district in respect to the consumer-driven plan, the $800, my out-of-pocket can be reduced even more. In my case, I take advantage of that option. In addition to that, to take advantage of that maximum out-of-pocket, I make an additional contribution to the plan. So hopefully next year, I will receive the $800. I'll have the option to participate. And then whatever I'm able to contribute on a paycheck basis or per pay cycle basis, it will be added to that $800, which means in turn that at the end of the year, my maximum out-of-pocket, when we compare it to any of the other two options, it will be a lot less. So I tell people, don't focus just on the deductibles, don't focus just on the co-payment. They're important because it gives you peace of mind, and especially if you're someone who is seeking medical treatment. But this is definitely, the consumer-driven plan is something that everyone can benefit from. And as mentioned earlier, I think that as we continue to further educate our population, as they continue to become familiar with how it works and how they can take advantage of this, they'll continue to participate. Another common question that comes up ever so often is, what does it cover? It covers exactly the same thing as any other plan, it just works differently. You'll get your annual exam covered at 100%. If you have a chronic illness, there's a specific list of prescriptions that are covered at 100% or covered at a copay. You get access to the clinic. So if you have the consumer-driven plan for employee only, and it's just employee only, so you don't have a premium, and you seek care from the clinic itself, all you have to pay, as long as it's just a visit, a regular visit, is your $10 fee. So what's my out-of-pocket in that case? $10. So there's ways for us to become familiar with these options that are being offered, and for us to find ways to reduce our out-of-pocket expenses when it comes to premiums for health insurance. Are there any questions regarding this piece of the information? So this particular slide is reflecting a zero fund balance target. The next one is the same information, but it is with a 1 million fund balance target. And again, the principle is the same. You have what you're going to be paying for premiums, your maximum out of pocket. It's good to compare that with the other two options. In this case, we'll go with the highest, which is the Premier plan, which is the $7,081.64. But if I stay enrolled in the consumer-driven plan and I receive the $800 from the school district, my out-of-pocket now is $2,700. So we encourage our employees and our participants when they're asking us questions, let's do the math. Let's see if this is something that could benefit you. One of the things that we are going to be proposing is to as you see, increase the current annual contribution from 600 to 800. And right now, the 600 are divided in 24 pay cycles on a semi-monthly basis. In order for employees to be incentivized to participate, we're proposing for 50% of the 800 to be deposited in January and the other 50% in June. So that would probably encourage some people to make the switch and establish their own health savings account and take advantage of having that funding available. Another option, another incentive is that as long as they continue enrolled in the high deductible plan, they continue to keep that account. The money rolls over year after year until you can build up to whatever amount it's allowed for that particular year. The funds can be utilized for any immediate family, covered dependents, spouse, and children. They do not need to be enrolled in the health insurance. Any questions in that respect? So as mentioned by Ms. Schupak, we had a presentation yesterday, and for all of those people that participated, thank you so much. The feedback that we received was good feedback. We get to see that our employees understand that change needs to happen, that we will continue to do our job in bringing this information forward every year. This could be something that happens for this next year, plan year, and may not need to happen in the next couple of years. But we will do our part in bringing this information forward and giving you a status in terms of how we're doing. One of the tools that we're going to be providing to our participants is a worksheet. The worksheet is going to help them understand how they could benefit from participating in a plan such as a consumer-driven health plan. And we are going to be working in a employee benefits education campaign. The objective of the campaign is to increase awareness, ensure employees know what benefit options are available, improve understanding, continue to educate employees on how to use the benefits, and boost active enrollment, encourage employees to take advantage of the benefits being offered. There's key messages and communication channels. Update the chances being implemented, highlight the unique advantages of the benefits, such as I mentioned earlier, the school district making a contribution on behalf of each employee. Clear instructions, that was one thing that was brought up to our attention yesterday during the presentation. And personalization, tailor the message or the information. There was someone who made a request to have the information available in Spanish. Digital communication is going to be one of the channels that we're going to use and that we have been using in the past, such as email, text, phone messages, newsletters, print. You might be familiar with the HR newsletter, our brochures, our posters, and in person. We, during the month of October, which is annual enrollment, we travel throughout the school district and we do presentations, but we're going to incorporate additional presentations, meaning wherever we're invited, we'll make sure to be there. And wherever we're not invited, we'll make sure to be there. In addition to that, I apologize, I forgot to click on this. There's some screenshots of the tools that we have used in the past. We have had our web portal updated every year. Our PR department has been great. They created a enrollment instructional video, if you will. We have our newsletter, we have our emails, our postcards that we send out. The postcard is in English and Spanish. And on our end, to administer the enrollment process, the annual enrollment process, we do have a system that we can use to track activity. So as we see the activity through the enrollment period, we'll make sure to stay in contact with our employees. For those of you that have not completed the enrollment, why they have not completed the enrollment. For those that dropped in the middle of the process, why did they do that? In addition to that, we have a line that has been facilitated by one of our third-party administrators. And if I recall correctly, the schedule is 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And if someone calls a little bit later, they don't turn them away. They still take care of that caller. So we will continue to have those tools available. Within the campaign timeline, we have a plan for each week. Again, we're looking at, the month of October to carry out all our enrollment activities, to include our presentations. But what we like to remind you of is what I mentioned earlier in terms of considerations and recommendations. We're focusing on a multi-year plan to address the health fund deficit, so I don't think that, as mentioned before, this is something that will be resolved, or our goal is to be resolved within a year. It'll take most likely a couple of years or more. Close enrollment for the Premier Plan for new employees. So for any current participants, if they wish to continue in that plan, they can do so, but of course they will need to pay the rate for 2025. Adjustments to the health plan option structure and premium rates, as I mentioned earlier, respectively. If there's coverage for employee only, then they will need to pay the rate. If there's coverage for employee and family, then it's respective rate as well. We have gone over the district-wide education campaign, and as I mentioned, our goal is to have all this information ready by October 2024. If time permits and we have the information available anytime sooner, as soon as we're able to do so, we'll hit the ground running and make sure that we make presence. Our next steps is to bring this information back in August, our next regular board meeting, August 21st, and I'm available for any questions. I don't know if there's anything that I need to clarify.
Questions?
Mr. Commissioner, I have a question. A couple of years ago, when we were looking at the Premier Plan, we were looking at possibly removing the Premier Plan. And you mentioned to freeze the Premier Plan for new employees. Is that something that we can consider possibly also for the base plan? Maybe freeze that one also, try to, because we want to convince our employees, obviously, to go to the consumer-driven health plan. So would that be an option to maybe freeze the new enrollment for the base plan as well?
Yes, Mr. Guerra, absolutely. It's something that can be considered, though because of the number of participation, it's a large number. I'm not sure that that will be something that we may want to do all at once within the first year. But yes, the short answer to your question is yes, we can.
Board members, I think that your initial target, in one of the slides you saw your comparables with other school districts in terms of participation rates on the consumer-driven health plan. And if you go anywhere else in the state of Texas, everybody has pretty much moved to that consumer-driven health plan. It's just the name of the game at this point. The market drives that situation, unfortunately. So I think that if you want to achieve, I think internally we've been thinking about a 50% target participation from 4.4% target, which is what you have right now. That's a pretty big jump. Will we achieve that through the education in a month turnaround? Hard to say, but if we can accomplish that, that's a big win. But if we don't, then I think we'll have to look at the following year to get to that point, and the following year. I think that given some time with some education and folks understand that, you know what, this is not a bad situation. I'm actually getting a benefit. I'm getting $800 in my HSA account that I can roll over. You know, I can actually take care of prevention issues myself. I can go to the clinic here, which is zero cost in the generic prescription plan. There's a lot of benefits to that situation. So the question becomes, okay, how can we get folks to move into that particular plan? And it could be multi-year. Now, until you do that, there might be some deficit budgeting still you might have to do. It'll be lower potentially. So the more you can get folks into those plans, it'll be less in terms of what the district has to contribute from your fund balance position. I think that's what we want to accomplish. So once again, it's the issue is, and you know, it's tough, you know, and folks are, they want to know whether or not these changes are going to dramatically change my, you know, world. So this is a tough situation. We have to be very thoughtful and careful, empathetic to our employees to make sure that they understand this world and go through the scenario so they feel comfortable for them and their family members to move towards that. I think if it was employee only, there's a better win for that person to just decide for themselves. But if it's employee children, my experience is that person typically they sit with it for a while. This is not just about them. it's about their kids, I got to think about that. What does that mean? If it's employee family, same thing as well too. And what the staff has done is giving you the numbers breakdown of who's currently involved in those current plans. And we're going to have to really get through those individuals to really give them the benefits, understanding that. And they may choose, they may not choose. But our internal target is hopefully a 50% transition. Potentially that will equal to what EPISD is at, around what other school districts are. They're moving towards that. So we want to get to that particular point. But I think, Mr. Guerra, your point about making that work is probably another good idea. Add to that.
Mr. Carmona,
Let's go there.
I'm very grateful that we went up from 600 to 800. Is it possible to give them more? Is that being fiscally? I'm getting eyes. I can see it.
We talked about a little bit more than that. So we're running some numbers to see whether or not we can go up to, I think we talked about $900. So I know doesn't seem like a lot, but I think we looked at the particular positions. We can come back next week to kind of see what the financial position would be at $900. Now, also just want to make sure that this is all about keeping the rate at 555 that you decide, you can't, so that contribution is going to be staying right there, which, by the way, is one of the highest in the state of Texas at 555. So we're not going to lower that. So this is about maintaining that rate. And if financially in the future it gets any better, you could actually go back to increasing that a little bit. Does that make sense there? Mm-hmm. Right now, you just can't do that because of your financial position at this particular point. So let's not reduce that number, but let's kind of give our employees a choice so they can decide, no, I need to stay on this one, and I can financially make that work. But if not, for the same type of services, I can go over there and potentially have $800 in my account that rolls over.
And again, the clinic is available to their children as well. Is that correct?
That is correct. As long as they're an enrolled dependent, yes.
Okay. And can they withdraw, or can they withdraw their HSA money at some point?
Yes. So in essence, the health savings account, it's an individual account. It's
like a savings account.
Correct. Just we need to keep in mind that if we take the money out and we're questioned by the IRS, we will need to prove that we used the funds for medical expenses, qualified medical expenses.
Us or the employee?
Well, the employee,
Right.
the person who owns the account.
Okay.
Because otherwise it becomes, or it's considered disposable income. So
Gotcha.
there might be an impact there.
Okay.
Which means it will be taxed.
Okay.
So it'll be a tax position issue.
I get you.
Yep.
I'd just like to add, on the HSA too, remember we're proposing to give $400 up front, where before it would have taken an employee 6 months to earn that amount of money. So from January through July or through June, they'll already have that $400 in the account. Mm-hmm. So whether it's raised to $900 or if it's kept at $800, they still do get $400
Upfront.
in January, which would be a good incentive for the employee, so they don't have to wait 6 months.
Okay, thank you. And then, so just for my understanding, after they've met their deductible, let's say it's just an employee of $3,500, everything else is at 100%, so all medical expenses.
That is correct, yes. As long as, of course, just like everything else, there's a checklist that we need to make sure that it's checked. It's based on medical necessity, it's a covered expense, and so on and so forth, yes.
Okay.
Once you meet your maximum out of pocket for the year, then the remainder is covered at 100%.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Yes. Mr. Carmona, thank you. Very comprehensive, and it's a detailed presentation. Thank you.
Melissa.
Just question, I know that you mentioned, and you got kudos, that you're going out and getting feedback from all of our stakeholders. What did they say? Can you give us just a top level, what are you hearing?
Absolutely. It was interesting to hear that different, excuse me, thank you. Different perspectives. There were some people that said from the get-go, had I known this, had I understood this, but there were some others that were grateful, and they were inviting us to make the same type of presentation or be present at their campus, at their department. They are aware that of our current situation when it comes to the health fund. They're, for the most part, aware that the deficit has been subsidized by the school district, and they acknowledged the fact that change needed to be made, and they were grateful that change through the presentation made more sense to them. Why was it needed, and what that would mean to them in their specific situation. In addition to that, they had questions regarding specifically to the employee health clinic. We addressed those as well. We talked about the accessibility to some of the services, because there was an employee who mentioned, well, if I move on to the consumer-driven health plan, how accessible the clinic is going to be to me if the number of visits increase. And we have talked about facilitating a satellite location as well. So at the end of the day, we were able, thankfully, to provide questions to their answers to their questions, and additional items that we're working on and looking at to be able to better serve our employees. Because we know that with that change, with them making changes, we need to make sure that we're also meeting our part of the bargain, and that's to continue to offer those benefits.
As you said that, I saw people nodding, so I think that sentiment is very on point. My next question is, you mentioned a multi-year plan. Currently, what is the healthcare fund total deficit that we've been looking at for the past, I think, 8 years that you mentioned?
So the amount that we looked at when the fiscal year ended is 8.8 million. The amount that we're looking at the entire plan year, January through December, is around 11 million.
So when you're doing the multi-year plan, you're going to come back year one, possibly cutting that 50%, and then year two, maybe at that point we're 0, and then year 3 we're at the 1 mil. What are you looking at?
Yes, so based on what is approved, we will come back and show at that point how much of that particular deficit, let's say if it's $1 million, the number that we're looking at, how much we were able to get additional as contribution, because right now, the way we have our rates shown on the presentation does not cover our deficit. It's only partially. And one of the reasons why it's hard for me to tell you a specific number, is because as soon as the changes are implemented, those numbers will shift again. The number of people that we have right now identified in the consumer-driven plan is about 300 people. We're hoping that that number will increase to 500. If that's the case, then we're looking about probably, Ms. Bobby, we said 200,000, more or less, difference compared to the 11 million or the 8.8 million that we have talked about is not significant. So again, my point with this is that as the change is introduced and as people make their options heading over to the 2025 plan year, we'll be able to provide you with those trends, how much of the deficit are being able to cover.
If I can,
Yes, please.
Mr. Kim?
If I can, I think that it's all the rates that you see is proportional to what the services that they would like to have as a choice. But once again, if the idea is to educate them to move into the consumer-driven health plan, which is a financially beneficial in many ways, not only to the school district, but to the employee. And I think as a result of the number of participation, you'll see potentially either a 0 in terms of deficit funding, or some, depending on the percentage of the people that may need to get in, maybe choose to decide to get into that program. And so we may need to have a couple more years until that becomes a 0, or actually even a reserve account that the district now gets into a reserve situation, which is what you want to build just in case there's a future event where there is a great deal of need in the system. You have reserve accounts within that system to do. So it's hard to tell. I think what Bobby's going to talk about is the experience that we experience in building that up. So Bobby, you want to mention that?
Right, and that's what I was going to say. So the anticipated goal is that $0, right? So we hope that with these rates, it will completely fund itself. So you would have a 0 balance, your balance will be solvent, and then you just build that up. So if, let's say you have 500,000 in there, or you have 600,000, that's the goal each year, because you never know what's going to happen. You never know what employees are going to choose, and then what expenses you're going to have to pay out. So really, it's a balance of that the first year. But if everything goes right, then year after year, you can build that fund, and you don't want to build that fund just to have money sitting there, then you can give back to the employees. So it's really a self-funded plan that the employees own, and it's through the education of the employees that you can build that fund. And that's how I've done it in a previous district, is we set that $0 target in the beginning, or the $1 million target, or the 500,000, it just kind of goes what you're comfortable with. You set that target in the beginning, and then you just have to watch it each quarter to see how is the plan performing. Were we on target? Do we need to change rates? Always keeping in mind the employee, because you don't want it to affect the employee. You want to make sure that you can provide that coverage at the lowest cost possible for the employee.
And the last thing, Mr. Carmona, I know that you gave us the comparison within all the districts as far as whose percentage of those going to the self fund. Could you also include kind of their rates? That way our employees see that there is that comparability, that, within districts, we're still thinking of them, and it's still something that, based on their choice, is still affordable.
Yes, ma'am.
I think to that question, it was really hard for us to see comparable plans because not every district is offering a premier plan, for example. So depending on the school district, there's not an equal one-to-one comparison other than the consumer-driven health plan. So that's why you saw the participation rates on that situation there. I think what we can provide you is probably the contribution by the district, the 555, and that comparable in terms of what those numbers are. We can probably give you that as well too.
So what you're sharing is that every district offers a different plan, or a different, healthcare plan. So this one, even though it costs $500, is not the same as this one that costs $500.
That's correct, and it's hard to compare as a result of that. So there's not a comparison to from what I can understand, the premier plan with other school districts nearby.
That's important for employees to know, because we're all one city, and we have family members a little bit of everywhere, and I pay this much. But I think what's important for them to know is they pay this much, but their plan is completely different than this one that might be the same cost.
Right.
Okay. Nothing more?
Any other questions?
No, sir, Mr. Carmona. I know there was a lot of effort that went into this and lots of people who were involved as well. Thank you very much. I appreciate the fact that we're getting this in advance and not just receiving it, right before the meeting we're going to make the decision. We've got some time to review this. If we have questions between now and then, we can certainly come back to you with them to make sure that we understand in its entirety, and we can consider it, when it comes back to us. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Carmona.
Okay, continuing then, new business. Consider approval of budget amendment Fund 461 Food Services. Ms. Shanoski.
Good evening, President Nahara, Interim Superintendent Mr. Vasquez, and esteemed Board of Trustees. I'm going to ask David Carrasco, my esteemed colleague, to please hand out a very small PowerPoint handout for y'all. I'm Shelley Chinoski, the Director of Child Nutrition Services. Thank you for granting me this opportunity to present to you tonight. As you all are aware, the recent ribbon cutting ceremony marked the completion of the new Student Activities Complex, SAC 2, our state-of-the-art facility for football games and other student events. The state-of-the-art concessions are equipped with modern equipment, ensuring efficient service and a wide variety of food options for our Socorro students. Families and spectators, These spaces are equipped to meet the needs of our concession operations, and we are absolutely thrilled to begin utilizing them. Health inspections and necessary permits have been successfully completed. Faculty, staff, and Booster Club members have undergone necessary paperwork and training. We are fully prepared to we are fully prepared to kick off an exciting football season at our Classic SAC and SAC 2 venues. To ensure a seamless start, I kindly request your approval for a budget amendment Specifically, we need to allocate funds from the 461 account to cover food orders, essential supplies, and labor. This will allow us to be fully prepared for the upcoming first scrimmage, which is scheduled for next Thursday night, August 22nd. We're excited to open this facility to allow for a great experience for our Team SISD community. I'm happy to entertain any questions.
Questions? Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve made by Mrs. Macias, seconded by Mr. Guerra. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Item passes. Thank you, Ms. Schnowski.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Moving on then, the meeting is to be closed for discussion with legal counsel regarding options for tax rate adjustments to hear appeals of the Level 3 Policy FNG decision and the parent complaint of AO and LMT and parent complaint of AS under Texas Government Code Sections 551.071 and 551.074. The time is 6:40 and the date is Wednesday, August 14th, 2024.
Mr. Nahara, in terms of order for, I didn't ask for that.
Is that your walk-up? Is that your walk-up song?
I need to work on that. I suggest that we take the hearings of the parent complaints first, because once those are completed, we'll have to have a closed session for the board, and we can take up the additional closed session item at that time. And that way the parents aren't here while we're holding them up. So we've got it in order, the first one being Mr. Ortiz and Ms. Tirado. They're together. That's one parent complaint. And the second being that of Mr. Saavedra, I believe. Yes, AS. So I suggest we take up one at a time.
Sounds good. So, okay, that was my question. One at a time, so everybody except for those involved with the first one, M. Tirado and M. Ortiz, must clear the boardroom, please.
Thank you.
No, we don't, because these are closed session.
We need to have a bright, successful future. Want to be a health professional? Once a bulldog, always a bulldog. Want to design skyscrapers? There's an empire for that. Have you heard the early bird gets the worm? Well, that's why they fear the falcons. We don't just rise. This is Sparta. We earn our horns and trailblaze and overcome to be the first and the best. I know. It sounds extra, but it's just our flex. For over 60 years, Socorro ISD has set its sights on our future with vision, innovation, investing, building, and planning to prepare us for the real world. These are our opportunities, and we will seize them.
So our dual language program consists of two different types of models. We have the 90-10, which is for pre-K students. And this is where the students are in a classroom with one teacher. Depending on their first language, they're going to get 90% of the instruction in English, 10% in Spanish, or vice versa, 90% in Spanish, 10% in English. And then we have our 50-50 model. And this starts from kinder all the way to 5th grade. And this is where the students have two teachers where they're learning
Board is back in session. The time is 7:21 p.m. The date is still Wednesday, August 14th, 2024, and we have a confirmed quorum. We'll continue with the grievance from Ms. Madera Tirado. Ms. Madera Tirado, first off, thank you very much for coming here today and presenting your grievance to us so that we could listen to what it was that you wanted to present. We appreciate you taking the time and allow us the opportunity to listen to you. Mr. Vasquez, apologize. I do understand, though, however, that the relief requested is now moot. But Mr. Vasquez, can you please make sure that our departments who are involved in situations like this and the personnel that are involved are in compliance and following our policies and regulations consistent with the way that we should address these situations?
Yes, sir. We'll make sure that gets done, that we comply with the timelines.
Okay. Thank you very much.
At this time, since the board does not, I believe you don't intend to take any action, there's no further requirements or action required by the board.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Then you'll need to call the next one.
Right. Okay. Continuing with the next grievance, this meeting is to be closed for discussion with legal counsel regarding, This meeting is to be closed to hear the appeal of Level 3 Policy FNG decision in the parent complaint of AS under Texas Government Code Sections 551.071 and 551.074. The time is 7:22 p.m. The date is Wednesday, August 14th, 2024. Good evening. We're back from closed session. The time is 7:58 p.m. The date is Wednesday, August 14th, 2024, and we have a confirmed quorum. First off, Mr. Saavedra, thank you very much for bringing your grievance before this board and for allowing us the opportunity to hear your grievance and consider the arguments you've made. At this time, I'd like to make a motion to grant the relief Mr. Saavedra has requested, which I believe is correction of both marking periods. Mr. Vasquez, can you, I made a motion. I need a second. Second by Ms. Macias. Motion made by myself, second by Ms. Macias. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Item passes. Mr. Vasquez, can you see that that gets done, please?
Yes, we'll make sure that gets done.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Saavedra. Appreciate it. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Now, we still have one more item in executive session, so we are going to go back into executive session. This meeting is to be closed for discussion with legal counsel regarding options for tax rate adjustments under Texas Government Code Section 551.074. The time is and 551.071, the time is 7:59 p.m., and the date is Wednesday, August 14th, 2024.
Socorro Independent School District has more than 48,000 students in 51 campuses, but we're not just a number. Here, we're cared for, we're loved, we belong. Socorro ISD is a true Texas public school district that gives us unforgettable memories, traditions, experiences, and the opportunities we need to have a bright, successful future. Want to be a health professional? Once a bulldog, always a bulldog. Want to design skyscrapers? There's an empire for that. Have you heard the early bird gets the worm? Well, that's why they fear the falcons. We don't just rise. This is Sparta. We earn our horns and trailblaze and overcome to be the first and the best. I know, it sounds extra, but it's just our flex. For over 60 years, Socorro ISD has set its sights on our future with vision, innovation, investing, building, and planning to prepare us for the real world. These are our opportunities, and we will seize them.
So our dual language program consists of two different types of models. We have the 90-10, which is for pre-K students, and this is where the students are in a classroom with one teacher. Depending on their first language, they're going to get 90% of the instruction in English, 10% in Spanish, or vice versa, 90% in Spanish, 10% in English. And then we have our 50-50 model, and starts from kinder all the way to 5th grade, and this is where the students have two teachers where they're learning both languages, English and Spanish, 50 and 50% of the time, depending on the taught subject and language.
I can tell you it's full of excitement and engagement. Here the students get to create, they get to express themselves, and they have the opportunity to do it in both languages.
Porque han empezado desde chiquitos, entonces ya llevan mucho tiempo ellos en colaboración con los demás alumnos, y sí se ve que entre ellos mismos se apoyan. Tenemos parejas que son nuestras parejas bilingües, que viene siendo la fortaleza en un idioma, ya sea en inglés o el español, y están con otra persona que es el opuesto. Entonces entre ellos mismos se apoyan, ya sea en el aula que viene siendo español o en el aula que viene siendo en inglés.
I'm proud to say that we have had great success. Right now, we currently serve 4 campuses. Our students have been very successful. So the goal of the program is that the students become biliterate and bilingual. By the time they're in the program, they do achieve great academic level success. And of course, they stay in touch with their culture as well. Once a student completes 5 full years in the dual language program, then they can qualify for a Spanish high school credit.
Regardless if they're in the English classroom or the Spanish classroom, they have the same equal opportunities to practice all their domains, the speaking, the listening, the reading, writing.
Ellos colaboran mucho, son niños que siempre van a estar hablando, siempre van a estar participando. Cuando una persona entra a nuestro salón, nunca va a ser un salón que no se escucha nada, y creo que es lo que a ellos les gusta interactuar. Tenemos muchas manualidades, utilizan mucho sus manos, y ellos pueden colaborar juntos, y es algo muy, muy especial bueno que hacen ellos esa relación también con ellos mismos.
They start working with cognates and false cognates. No se dice así, se dice así. Oh, now I remember. I saw it with Miss Gonzalez. Oh, no, wait. I saw in first grade. Miss Castro told me that it was this. So they start coming, and you start seeing them coming together. It's amazing because they start connecting everything.
SISD is truly the district that offers many opportunities for our students. Dual language is not just opening doors for our students to become bilingual and biliterate, but it's opening doors for their future.
Socorro ISD makes learning innovative. We fly drones, we take center stage, we take care of the environment, and we learn to take care of our health and become lifelong learners. Our new elementary academies offer unique programs to inspire, challenge, and prepare us for success. Register now at SISD.net and seize your opportunity in Team SISD.
The Socorro Independent School District is committed to helping all students find their voice and achieve their highest potential. We understand the important role that families play in our children's education, and we welcome you, our military-connected families, to Team SISD. With 46 schools designated Purple Star campuses by the Texas Education Agency, the most of any school district in the El Paso region, Team SISD is committed to supporting the unique needs of military-connected students and their families through a variety of resources and services. These include a comprehensive website for military families, a campus transition program, multiple special events, military family life counselors, and a military liaison at each of our 51 campuses who all reach out and serve our military-connected families. Team SISD stays in close contact with our Fort Bliss counterparts to access and share information, ideas, and trainings to provide the best education for our 6,500 plus military-connected students. To assist with the social and emotional needs of our students, we maximize support services by engaging with our school counselors, including our military and family life counselor, and local agencies such as NAMI, the YWCA, Child Guidance Center, local daycare providers, and the Paso del Norte and Meadows Family Leadership Council. We value and greatly appreciate the sacrifice our military parents make for our country, our community, and our children. We salute you, and we are delighted to have the opportunity to serve you and your family in our district. Thank you for being part of our district and helping us ensure that Team SISD is the right choice for endless opportunities.
The mission of Career and Technical Education is to collaborate with business and industry and post-secondary education to provide programs that will build academic as well as career skills for our students, provide them an opportunity to earn an industry certification, and provide them leadership opportunities through career and technical education student organizations, and provide them opportunities to get exposure into the world of work prior to graduating, and with the hopes that they obtain a job that is better than minimum wage, and hopefully wage earning that they can support themselves or a family, as well as prepare them to go to college and successfully graduate from college.
The Architecture Academy is like a family that a lot of people you go to in a safe place to just learn about architecture. I've gotten to do a lot of things. We do models and sketches. We were able to do different competitions. I get to do floor plans, site plans. I really like landscape, and I think that's something I'm going to get into and study in the future. And we get to also do interior design.
Well, we have 45 different programs through CTE to support different career interests from all the 16 career clusters. We offer dual credit programs for them in many of our programs. We have started implementing pathways in technology early college high schools. We'll have 12 of them starting next year.
We like to study, the basics of firefighting, building construction, because firefighting isn't just, putting water on a fire and it goes out. Firefighting is way deeper into the aspect. There's foam, electrical stuff, equipment, fire trucks, there's different fire trucks. A lot of stuff that, the public doesn't know about. We're very hands-on too. Like everybody has their own gear here. We train a lot with the gear, our hoses. We learn how to use ladders. We were basically being taught what we need to know when we're going to the training academy. I really do want to do this in the future. One of the competitions, we were able to go to a university, and I was able to experience the college life there, and I'm really looking forward to going to the University of Arizona. I want to study architecture and probably minor in landscaping, and I'm really excited to start my years there. It's opened me up to many opportunities, really exploring who I am, going deeper into who I am. It opens many doors. I was able to bring the confidence out of myself, meet new classmates, and build bonds with them, and I loved every single bit about it. I feel like it's a great opportunity because I was able to explore different sections in architecture and get to be able to network with real architects here in El Dorado High School. And I feel like it's an amazing opportunity because we're given the freedom to choose what pathway we want to study in and explore more.
Take the chance. We all live once. You're going to meet a lot of new friends. You're going to meet a lot of new people. You're going to build relationships with people, and ultimately, you're going to become a better person because of this program. And it's fun. It's fun. We're a very fun program.
El Paso parents, pre-K to 12th grade registration is now open for new and returning students. Team SISD's pre-K programs offer engaging hands-on learning for young students to build a solid foundation in their academic journey. Join our top academic academies, award-winning fine arts programs, championship athletics, and career and technical education with highly qualified teachers. Register at sisd.net/enrollment and seize your opportunity in Team SISD. Hello, and welcome to SISD TV News, where we deliver the latest news about the Socorro Independent School District. In today's segment, we'll take a look at this past spring semester's athletic and academic commitments. In our top story, Project Search celebrated the induction of its 6th cohort into the program. The program assists students with disabilities in their last year of high school to learn employability skills and transition from high school into the workforce. The students will participate in a year-long internship at the Hospitals of Providence East Campus.
The national average for individuals with disabilities, their employment is below 20%. And because of this program, we are employing, we've had several years where we have 100%. Our current cohort, we already have 4 students employed, and we're still working to get all of them employed.
Independence is a crazy thing. So once you give a student, any student, the ability to believe in themselves, the growth is miles. It's leaps and bounds. So our students come in shy and timid, but they leave here believing in their own ability. So they're able to voice their needs, their concerns, and can take that into the workforce and have a productive and wonderful life in society. And that's our goal.
I'm so excited to work in a hospital, and also I want to be independent, read books, and helping all people.
I could learn how to work, how to be independent, and earn my own money.
Five Socorro High School students in the Health Professions Academy signed their letters of intent to pursue their nursing career with Texas Tech University Health Science Center.
The program here does an amazing job. They were accepted because they were the cream of the crop. Not because they came from Socorro, not because they earned it. And they knew what they wanted, and here they are, and here they finished, and we're looking forward to seeing them in fall for 2024.
I'm so happy. I'm relieved that the 4 years have passed, but I'm more excited to start a new chapter in my life.
6 RAM students signed their letters of intent to continue their STEM and academic careers at universities across the state.
Not only are we known throughout the city of El Paso, but now we're recognized in the entire state of Texas.
And so it's just these very determined students who are willing to do extra work, a ton of extra hours after school, weekends, even Sundays. And so the work never ends here on the team, and all of their efforts are finally being recognized now when they're graduating.
It's honestly unbelievable. I'm really grateful. It feels like all my hard work has paid off. In the end, just like I've learned that never give up. Just keep working towards your goals. Sometimes it does get hard, but like in the end, if you just keep trying, it'll eventually pay off. And so far, it has. So it's amazing.
Team SISD student athletes signed their letters of intent to play at the college level.
I've been thinking about this, been dreaming about this for about 16 years. Been working for it since I was able to walk, so it means a lot.
All the hard work coming from starting playing football at 4 years old, working until I'm 18 now. Every year, every day, every second that I put into football paid off very well.
Every day, countless hours, every day in football practice, waking up 5 in the morning. It takes a lot, and then just going to every football game, all the hits, just going to all the games. It takes a lot to get to the end, and I'm finally here playing college football. It means the world to me.
I'm very excited. It's like a dream come true. I've been waiting so long to pick a college and sign, and I found one that was a perfect fit for me, and it had everything that I needed, and they wanted me just as bad as I wanted to go there.
Today's really special. I mean, just to showcase, my talent at the next level. It's truly a blessing. All my hard work that I put into this sport has truly paid off. So it's awesome.
It makes me feel really happy, and then I'm very thankful for my parents because they're the ones who pushed me to get to this level, and they never gave up on me, as well as all my coaches I had in my career.
I'm so excited. I can't believe this is coming true. Just dreaming about it, and it's almost time. It's pretty amazing.
I'm super excited to be able to actually sign because I never thought I was going to be able to make it, and it's always been a dream since I was a little girl.
I'm excited, and I guess I'm happy that I'm going to school. I'm making my parents proud.
It feels great. It's been a really long journey, and I'm very grateful for the opportunities given to me to play at the next level.
It definitely feels good. I'm most excited. This is probably one of the most best things I've felt in a while, and I'm ready to give it my all and pursue my dream.
But I'm extremely blessed to be here, to have the opportunity to continue playing, because like they had mentioned, only 7% of athletes play at the next level, and I'm just blessed to be able to be one of them.
Running is an individual sport. Whatever you put into it, you're going to get out of it. And obviously, I put in a lot of hard work, but it's helped me get to this point in my life where I'm going to be able to run it at the D1 level.
To have this opportunity to sign, coming out from high school and pursuing our dreams furthermore. And I can't wait what's next for us in the future.
Ever since I was little, I wanted to play next level, play with bigger people, better people. So I'm excited for it.
I feel amazing. It's very, it's bittersweet just because I am going to have to leave my family in the next couple months, but it's very rewarding for sure.
That's our show for today. I hope you've enjoyed learning about the latest in the Socorro Independent School District. Make sure to follow us on X with the handle @Socorro ISD. Be sure to friend us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Team SISD, and visit our website. Thank you again, and see you next time.
En el distrito de Socorro, aprender es innovador. Volamos drones, tomamos el centro de escenario, cuidamos nuestro medio ambiente y aprendemos a cuidar nuestra salud para ser mejores aprendices de por vida. Las academias de primaria de SISD ofrecen programas únicos para inspirarnos, desafiarnos y prepararnos para el éxito. Regístrate ahora y aprovecha tu oportunidad en el equipo SISD.
Welcome to our beautiful Sun City of El Paso, Texas. I'm Rosie Rodriguez, proud school counselor at Chester Jordan Elementary, home of the Lions. We currently serve 791 students, from our littlest Lions in pre-kinder to our extraordinary preteens in 5th grade. At Chester Jordan, we take pride in serving a diverse community with a large population of military and economically disadvantaged students. Because of this diverse community, we take great pride in providing a comprehensive school counseling program that is ASCA-based and data-driven to benefit all students' academics, college and career readiness, and social-emotional well-being. Simply put, taking care of the whole child. I now welcome you to Chester Jordan Elementary, where I show you what a comprehensive school counseling program has done to the positive culture of our campus. Welcome.
Ms. Rodriguez, when I started here at the leadership team, she was one of the first ones who kind of took me under her wing. And that just goes to show that she's not just about, you know, a school counselor for students. She's a school counselor for everybody, for faculty, staff, the community. She's one of the most selfless people that I have ever come in contact with.
She is an amazing human being that truly is heart. She loves the students, the teachers, the staff. She shows it every day. I think first of all with her smile and her welcoming demeanor. She has such an amazing energy. People want to go to her.
One of my top priorities was to build relationships with students, teachers, staff, and parents to know how to best provide support. Staying visible through classroom lessons, making myself available, and providing opportunities to connect truly allowed for these relationships to flourish. And flourish they did. Providing support to students through classroom lessons, individual counseling, check-ins, small group counseling, and referrals to outside resources allowed for equitable access to opportunities that may have otherwise gone unserved. Bottom line, I want our campus to know I am here for them.
She's always in the forefront, ready to help out in any way that she can. You don't even have to ask her, and she's already ready and willing.
So there's a lot of wonderful things about Ms. Rodriguez. She's a wonderful counselor. She's always helping us in small groups, in relationship problems, and everything, in every way possible.
In an effort to address the whole child, a multifaceted campus-wide SEL initiative was established. Advocating for some of the instructional time to be dedicated to SEL time allowed more learning to happen. These lessons became the foundation of classroom expectations and behavior incentives. Becoming an SEL-focused campus brought on a culture of growth and positivity. Including all stakeholders was the next step, so we held SEL nights to help parents and the community know how to better support our little lions.
She goes beyond the four walls of this campus. She touches the parents' heart. She provides support, tools, whatever they need. It really is about, for when I think of Rosie and the way she treats our campus, it's about the whole child. And she still has that for our teachers and staff too.
Advocating for students, teachers, and parents is just as important as advocating for the school counseling profession. They truly come hand in hand. I collaborate with all stakeholders to work with and for students. In addition, I have had the opportunity to implement a comprehensive school counseling program that has been recognized several times at LASCA, as well as recently receiving the RAMP recognition from ASCA. Additionally, not only have our students and campus benefited from this advocacy piece, but many school counselors from all over the United States. I had the privilege to present to school counselors from our district, the state of Texas, and the nation. This shared knowledge will help promote school counseling programs everywhere.
I love her so much. She's really special to me. She's one of the persons that I could always count on. Like, she'll always get my back and everything. I just don't know how to express my love.
She's not just a counselor and a colleague, she's a friend, and I mean that with everybody. She's just an overall amazing person, and we're so blessed to just have her.
Ms. Rodriguez expresses her love not only verbally but physically to the students. What I mean by that is every day she reminds them, students, remember that I love you. And I just want to say, Ms. Rodriguez, we love you and we appreciate everything that you do here at Chester Jordan.
Padres del Paso, estudiantes nuevos y actuales ya se pueden inscribir en el Distrito de Socorro para prekinder a último año. El equipo SISD ofrece un aprendizaje práctico e innovador donde sus pequeños estudiantes crezcan en su trayectoria académica. Únase a nuestras academias académicas de primer nivel, programas deportivos, bellas artes y educación profesional y técnica. Regístrese en línea y aprovecha tu oportunidad en el equipo SISD. Hello and welcome to SISD TV News, where we deliver the latest news about the Socorro Independent School District. In our top story, Congresswoman Veronica Escobar met with Socorro High School senior government students and teachers to share how she got involved in government and how they can also get active in politics.
It was super important for me because not a lot of my peers or students are that motivated to get involved or know the opportunities that are here present, such as being in her Congressional Youth Advisory Council or finding their voice to advocate for social issues that they're very passionate about. So it was important for me to welcome her here so that my fellow peers can say, hey, if she can do it, then so can I.
It was very, very insightful. It is a very kind of general knowledge, but it's just something not enough people listen to. And I'm so happy she was able to reiterate it, because I'm hoping that even with her having a higher chair in power, might actually inspire people to fully listen to the other and have each heart connect so that we can stop butting heads.
Graduating SISD seniors from all 6 comprehensive high schools who are attending UTEP or El Paso Community College were able to register for courses, meet with admission counselors, and gain valuable insight into college life at both UTEP and EPCC.
Super important that our school district continues to provide our students, bringing the colleges into our campuses to facilitate issues with questions, transportations, and allowing them to be excited of what's to come and to be able to meet their future goals.
So we do have El Paso Community College and UTEP offering students registration with their financial aid. They'll walk away with a school schedule with their first class. It's exciting to see those opportunities for our trailblazers as they leave over to the college bound.
It's so important for us to go meet the students where they are, right? We can't be passive and wait for them to come to us. We know how important higher ed is to students. And so we feel it's our responsibility in being good community members and understanding the importance of education in our community and in these students' lives to take these services to them. So we appreciate it. We appreciate the partnership with the school district, with our 4-year partners, the University of Texas at El Paso. And we come here with that singular vision to enroll students and get them continuing on their higher education path.
The students are very engaged this morning. They're excited. We're playing games with them. Well, we're also being informative so that they know that they can trust us and that we can start building that relationship with them or continue working on our relationship with them, because we have been coming to the school for other visits and whatnot, and so we really want it to be so that by the time they're at UTEP, they feel safe and comfortable with us.
We're back from executive session. The time is 8:26 p.m. The date is still Wednesday, August 14th, 2024, and we have a confirmed quorum. With there being no further business before this board, we are adjourned. The time is 8:26 p.m. The date is Wednesday, August 14th, 2024. Everybody have a good night.